Hey G fam, it's Miss Craft here. Um, Three things I've learned from the 2019 growing season. This is a collaboration that's going on within the gardening community on YouTube, and I was tagged by Backyard Gardener and asked to contribute. So thank you, Backyard. I appreciate that. First, before I go any further, thank you guys for even tuning in. I do appreciate that. I ramble a lot, but I do appreciate you guys even just tuning in to see what this old girl's up to. So, thanks. I made some notes. So if you see me like looking down, that's why. So I wanted to make sure I got everything on my mind off my mind. The first thing I learned was planning and timing is key to be successful in gardening. Part of the planning is knowing your growing zone so you know what you can plant successfully and when you can plant it successfully. Part of the timing that goes along with the planning is having your watering and feeding schedule down, making sure that you follow that plan the way you're supposed to. If anybody's looked back at some of my videos, you see I failed miserably with that this year, but I'm learning my lessons. And part of that learning was that I needed to be better organized, which is why I developed the spreadsheet. And I put my seeds in such an order that I know my spring seeds versus my fall seeds and things like that. So I make sure I plant the right things at the right time. And to automate as much of the work as you possibly can to help keep the hobby fun. And that's why I took the time to put in the irrigation that I did and the building of the fish water line that I did, because things were starting to become overwhelming because life was becoming overwhelming. When I first started the garden, I had time. I had all the time in the world to do that. But then, life has the way to throw you a curve. No matter what it is, it could be just extra hours at work that are being demanded on you, or a sick relative, or a sick puppy. I mean, anything. I mean, can just put a pebble in the water and cause riffles. So, as much of the process that you can have automated, the better. So, that was lesson one. Lesson two, be comfortable with failing. It's okay to fail. It's not okay to quit. When you are gardening, failure is inevitable. And one of the reasons why, is not necessarily neglect on your part, but Mother Nature herself. She is ever changing. She is very fluid. We don't know what she's going to bring. So we also have to be fluid and ever changing, taking the lessons that she's giving us. For example, the heat wave that we got, everybody that was on in the GFAM's like, I've never seen this before in my lifetime. So we're going to have to change our game to keep up with Mother Nature. Now, could we as humans be an impact on Mother Nature changing? I believe so. I really do. Because we work so hard against her, trying to make things work the way we think they should, she's fighting back. It's that simple, which kind of leads me to my third lesson, that we need to do a better job of working with Mother Nature, not against her. In the grand scheme of things, this is Mother Nature's world, not ours. Okay? We are just trying to survive in it. And I get the fact that, we want a roof over our heads and, food and water in our belly, and we want to do it in such a way that's the least convenient for us. But I don't necessarily believe that everything has to be automatic or everything has to be at hand. Sometimes you have to work for the things that you need. And I also noticed that a lot of the people within the garden family say they get more satisfaction of knowing that they grew something themselves versus going to the store. Not, I mean, yeah, there's the flavor and all of that, but just even the satisfaction that I went out to my garden, I picked this lettuce that's going in my salad, and I did that. Well, you don't get that same feeling of got in my car, drove to Wally World and picked up a lettuce that's going in my salad. You don't get that. See, it doesn't even sound right. So, being able to work with Mother Nature, I mean, as long as we keep in mind that we are the ultimate interlopers. And what I mean by that is that it's not the squirrels, it's not the mice, it's not the rabbits, deer, snakes, it's not even those bugs we can't stand. We are imposing ourselves on their territory. And we have the nerve to get mad at them for doing what they do. They are a part of nature. They are only doing what they are designed to do. So by keeping that in the back of your mind, and for me, I did get some bug action. I did lose some plants, but why it saddened me, I wasn't upset about it because they were just doing what they were doing. Some of it actually resonated with me because one of the things I do know is that, especially when it comes to bugs tend to attack weak plants. Now, some people were like, well, my plants were dying, they were fed, they were happy, they were growing. But if you really stop and think about it, now I'm going to get a little deep on you. Stop and think about it. Especially vegetables, the vegetables that we grow now are a far cry from the wild ancestors that they were cultivated from. If you look at corn, the original corn was hard and darn near inedible, but then they worked it and turned it and changed it and kept blending until they got something that was edible. Same with cucumbers. If you notice, there's certain cucumbers that grow that have like little bumpy things on it. Well, all cucumbers' ancestors came from something that was spiky. All of those things were defense mechanisms against nature, against the bugs and the things like that like to eat them. So the things that we are growing now are starting out as at a disadvantage. They don't have the survival mechanisms that their ancestor had. They're relying on us to protect them now. So, with that, you have to keep that in mind. And then the fact that they aren't growing in the wild, they're not growing in their natural habitat, that's also a stressor to them. We are the ones, humans, we're the ones that are trying to grow lemons in Alaska and maples in Florida. That it doesn't work. Yeah, it'll work, but you have to move heaven and earth to get it to work. It won't work naturally. So by keeping in mind that just that alone is working against nature. So we have the weakened plant by nature. We have the weakened environment by nature. And then you put someone like me on top of that decides that, not having a watering system in the first place is a good idea, which stresses the plant even more. So, these weak, vulnerable plants have no choice but to be attacked by bugs because that is nature's way of culling out weakness. Okay? Nature is, survival of the fittest. And if you stop and think about it, if you plant the seeds that we plant now by themselves without any human intervention, they probably would not survive in the wild. At least, they may be able to get something going where some, seeds will probably germinate, but it will take some time for it to kind of get back to where it originally came from, which would probably be a thick-skinned tomato, a spiky cucumber, and a hard as rock ear of corn. Okay, so being able to work with nature, understand what nature's doing, and then do your part to protect the already weakened plant, I think is what a lesson that I walked away with. Not to get mad with nature, but understand why nature is doing what nature is doing. For the people that are like, well, my problem are squirrels and things. Well, this is the way I look at that. If the squirrels and the birds and the rabbits want your stuff, it's because you're doing it right. It tastes good. So another farmer that I saw online pretty much said that, again, don't fight nature. If you have a squirrel problem, grow more. There's only so many squirrels that can attack your fruit, and if you can grow 3 trees, you're going to get at least 1 tree's worth of fruit. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. If birds are going after your strawberries, grow more. You obviously know what you're doing, so grow more. So either that, or like I said, just put up fencing and netting and protect your stuff. I'm sorry, I'm cracking my own self up, but in all truthfulness, just work with nature. I think you'll find when you start to do too much stuff where you try to use this poison or this shovel or anything like that that's supposed to be the new thing. Yeah. People have been growing food forever and a day, and it's never been more than putting a seed in the ground, watering it, and tending to it. And I think that's what we need to continue to do. Give it the bare minimum that it needs to grow, protect it from the elements and from the bugs that are trying to attack it. Keep it as healthy and as strong as you can. So that's what I've learned in 2019. This is actually a really good topic. I've actually listened to several people who have participated, and the pearls of wisdom have been awesome. So for those of you who are tuning in that have already posted a video, kudos on you. You guys are coming up with some great stuff. And if you are around, go ahead and look for that hashtag and tune in to some of these channels. Barefoot Gardener, Backyard Gardener. I apologize, girl. My Backyard Gardener has some really great tips. And I'm trying to think who else. Dan Organic Food Forest, I think, has one. Four Horns just posted one. There's a bunch. I'm sorry. There's a bunch. You should go check them out. So I will leave a link below to Backyard Gardeners. And now comes the time when I'm supposed to tag 4 more people. So I would really like to hear from some other newbie gardeners besides myself. So I'm going to tag my partner in crime from the middle of the map, Nick Thomas, what you got to say. And then I want to tag Original Lovebug and hear what she has to say. I'd like to hear from Zoe, a virgin gardenista. And because we hadn't heard from you in a while, sister, where you at? So I want to see what you have to say on that. And then while the next person I want to tag is not a new gardener, she always has some awesome pearls of wisdom. So I would love to hear from my girl, Diva Jones 03. So tagging Nick Thomas, Original Love Bug, Zoe of Virgin Gardenista, and Diva Jones 03. I will leave links to all of their sites below so you guys can go check them out. And think that's all I got for you. Much love for you from Memphis, and I will see you soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah.